Hello, property nomads. Hope you're doing well. If you've been paying attention to the news in the last few weeks, you would have noticed that there's been a lot of flooding over in the Gulf area. Talking Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Bahrain, those sorts of areas. And interestingly, that's created a bit of a backlash because some people out there are saying that just it's the weather, this is what it does. Other people saying, well, hang on a minute, Saudi Arabia and those countries in and around there have been doing something called cloud seeding, i.e. what they're doing is effectively trying to interfere with Mother Nature. And it's come back to bite them on the backside. We've got a couple of articles here to go through. Let me just bring up this screen share. And there's some videos on this first article, with Dubai hit with flooding and, the streets pretty much underwater. Again, something that's incredibly rare for that area. It's never happened before. It says here the last time it surpassed anything seen since all the records began in 1949. So that's a long time ago. But it doesn't mean it hasn't happened before that. There's just no recorded evidence of it or amount of rainfall, etc., etc. And as you've probably seen, a lot of road, pretty much everywhere submerged with a lot of water, something that we've probably seen before in the UK, but certainly people out there in that part of the world have probably just never experienced such things before. Dubai came to a standstill. Unfortunately, the flood waters killed numerous people, mainly in Oman, which is just south of the United Arab Emirates, which is where Dubai is. So, yeah, unfortunately, these events have killed people. That's never nice to read. Completely shut down. People were staying in the airport. All crazy, crazy stuff. You can see here the level of flood water, torrential rain that caused the floods over in these areas. I mean, that's a lot of water, if you ask me. Quite dangerous amounts as well. The only advantage I can see there is I imagine the whole area would dry out quite quickly because of what the weather's like normally. So, all of that's been and gone. Okay, not ideal. These things happen. But let's scroll down to the bottom here. And this is what makes me laugh here, is that it says that the rain is connected to a larger storm system traveling down the Arabian Peninsula and moving across the Gulf of Oman. Okay, that's fine. These things happen. As I said at the start of the video, Mother Nature is Mother Nature. You can't control these things. I'm sat here recording this video at the end of April, and it is pretty chilly, I think, for this time of year in the UK. But then that's the weather, that's the UK. Nothing makes sense when it comes to the weather here. But of course, the experts have to come out saying that this freak weather is, of course, you guessed it. Oh, yes, you've guessed it indeed. It's caused by climate change, isn't it? Of course, 100%. And it's as a result of the warming atmosphere, which soaks up more moisture before, and it soaks it up like a towel, and it wrings it out in the form of more extreme rainfall, and that results in floods. Of course, silly me, how could I possibly have forgotten it's climate change? Oh no, silly me. I am so sorry. I thought it could have just been Mother Nature, but no, of course, it has to be climate change. I stand corrected. But is it climate change? Or is it something slightly different? Let's go over to the second article. And the second article is saying that billionaires and governments need to stop messing with the weather. Now, it goes on to talk about Yorkshire farmers. With all due respect to Yorkshire farmers, we're not here to read about you today. But this is a bit that gets interesting. It says all around the world, governments and billionaires are playing God and messing with the weather. So it says here that Saudi Arabia and the UAE, so United Arab Emirates, they're both systematically seeding the sky to bring rain on the desert to maintain a supply of fresh water. Okay, what does that involve? Well, the article goes on. So, preliminary studies resulting in rainfall in the Saudi area and from cloud seeding experiments indicate precipitation of 3.5 billion cubic meters. All of that's fallen and that's created new water sources. Apparently, it's increased green space and it's intensified vegetation to mitigate desertification and drought. Okay, fair enough. But the cloud seeding, so basically they're artificially doing something with the clouds in effect, it's been so successful that the Saudi National Centre of Meteorology issued a red warning, so i.e. an extreme weather warning, for rainfall and strong winds. And this was back at the start of April. Well, funny enough, there was quite a few floods that happened just after that date. Voila. So these experiments have been taking place throughout the world, often funded by billionaires because they want to fight global warming. And I do like the fact this article has to say this is not a conspiracy theory. Reputable news outlets have recently covered the story of weather modification. So we've got two articles here. Go back to the first article, as you can see on the video. So Dubai floods, yeah, not good, not ideal. You know, these things happen. And then again, of course, if you haven't already told, I was being highly sarcastic because, of course, the weather experts are saying, well, it's climate change as a result of the warming atmosphere. But then we go to the second article, and it seems to me quite clear. I'm just putting the pieces of the puzzle together here, folks. This seems to me quite clear that a lot of people have been doing in that area, have been doing a thing called cloud seeding, where they're artificially bringing more clouds into the region. And funnily enough, yeah, that's going to bring a lot of rain. And that has resulted in extreme rainfall, that has resulted in flooding, that has resulted in people losing their lives as a result of people trying to tamper and change with the environment. So, yeah, you could argue, yes, is that some form of climate change? Okay, I'll hold my hands up. That is probably proper man-made climate change, to be fair. But that also has a ginormous impact on infrastructure, people's lives, etc., etc. But it's loved the fact that, of course, everything has to be blamed on climate change when people are not even taking into consideration that some Gulf states and billionaires, etc., are actually looking to artificially create an environment and trying to tamper with Mother Nature, and that normally that will end in absolute disaster. So yeah, two sides of the coin there. Very interesting. That climate change is an issue that's going to be rammed down our throats, I think, for the rest of our lives. But of course, the powers that be need a scare tactic in order to get us to do stuff as and when they need us to do stuff or want us to do stuff. But this is why we produce these videos. It's putting two and two together to make four, not putting two and two together to say what state media want us to say. That's not the environment I've been brought up in. That's not the environment I want to live in either. I'm sure you can appreciate that as well. So yeah, next time it rains, next time it snows, next time the sun comes out, just think about, well, how on earth has that got there? Especially, and again, as we go back to Dubai and Bahrain and Oman and that area, such rainfall is very, very rare over there because, funnily enough, the desert states don't normally get too much rain in a desert last time I checked in. So people should stop tampering with the weather. We will put those links into the description, comments below, etc., as per usual. Please do us a small favor. Do subscribe to the podcast, that we thoroughly enjoy producing these videos. Gets a lot off my chest, which is quite useful. And thanks to you for subscribing, for liking. The channel's growing nicely. We really appreciate that. At some point, I'm sure we'll start getting interviewees and so forth onto the show as well. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.